we begin, I'd like to ensure, to ensure all cell phones and pagers and two-way radios, handheld gaming devices, iPads, Paul, please put those on silent. Great. Family, friends, and loved ones from near and far, I have the great honor of welcoming each of you to the most important day of Mark and Teresa's life. Today, on this frankly glorious open day, we celebrate two families coming together in distant parts of the world to meet and rejoice with friends and start this next chapter in the story of Teresa and our friends. Firstly, on behalf of Teresa and Mark, let me say thank you wholeheartedly to everyone here with us today who's willing and able to join us for the celebration of the important business of the day. Of course, a day such as this is for and about our dear friends here at the altar. But it's also for and about those that love them, in order to share in the joy they find together, and to reminisce in all the lovely memories behind us, as well as help us forge brand new ones. Everyone here helps us to make this gathering so special. How delightful is it that for these two dear friends of ours, literally all four corners of the world are represented, and yet it still feels this intimate. It's a really, really special thing. With us today are the parents of Teresa, Fanny and Joseph Blythe, who have traveled here from Sydney and who, by all accounts, in addition to raising this frankly loveliest and most beautiful bride, have both been so helpful and earnest in preparations for this hallowed occasion. Though technically retired, Fanny and Joseph accomplished more in a Saturday morning, as we've seen today, than many do in an entire week. They're constantly introducing Teresa and Mark to new recipes and food, which frankly is probably the best way to show you that you love someone. Thank you so much, Bill, for joining us today. Also with us today, are the parents of Mark, Jerry and Don, who traveled here from Bartlett, Illinois, which, culturally speaking, may in fact be further away from New York than Sydney or Hong Kong. Jerry, wow. So much of Mark's trademark empathy is from the upbringing you gave him. Undoubtedly, you're proud of raising this sensitive young man, such a huge heart. Don, Mr. Brandstetter, you've done good in raising a respectful gentleman here. Joseph, also thank you. Jerry, Don, thank you so much both for joining us today. I've known Mark and Teresa for a while. Mark for 9 years and Teresa for nearly 5. One recurring theme of their relationship is persistent and honest communication. I think I have some unique insight there too. Mark and I met while boarding a plane in Tokyo, headed for the prefecture of Yamaguchi. He had this big, floppy mop of hair, made him look a lot younger than his years. Me, I had hair. We quickly bond over a shared passion for waking up too early, overwhelming our British and Australian friends with our exuberance and shameless Americanness. Teresa's always been like that. There in Japan, he and I would go on to spend 2 years adventuring in the Japanese countryside. When we parted ways, we kept in near constant contact across continents and time zones. A couple years later, I convinced him to come to New York, and was lucky enough to work alongside him. I certainly learned from Mark that distance isn't really an obstacle to friendship and love, and at the very least, it doesn't have to be if you actually care enough. Patience. I first learned about Teresa in February 2009, when Mark described himself as simply smitten by, quote, a friend's friend's friend. Now, to this day, I believe Cat Roberts holds a bit of a grudge for lack of appropriate credit. Kat, you Mancunian come Melburnian lass, let us now and forever acknowledge, on their wedding day, and from the very altar itself, you're on the record for Teresa. Now, smitten is truly how Mark would go on to be. Teresa became a constant presence, whether via phone, video, or text, as they spoke practically nightly and in the morning, in between. They started to realize what a perfectly complementary match they were for each other, geography notwithstanding. Naturally, I was a little bit cautious about what was going on here, but once introduced via video, a few things were pretty apparent. It gave me a little more comfort. So this charming young lady from Sydney was clearly from good stock. Despite her tiny feet, Teresa had an extraordinarily high strength-to-weight ratio. She knew great ramen and took photographs to prove it. She had this never-ending supply of close friends all around the world doing such interesting things that, despite any amount of distance, she kept really close to her heart. Teresa also had a knack for teasing Mark just enough to keep him humble, without quite being hurtful. Most importantly to me, though, even from a hemisphere away, she made Mark tremendously happy. When Mark moved to New York, Teresa was worried that he would no longer have time for her and just get distracted by all the city has to offer. The fact of the matter is that more than anything, that distance helped him forge such solid and meaningful communication habits that by the time Mark lured Teresa to the big city, the promise of a beautiful Lower East Side tenement above a very shady fortune teller, the two of them had a great foundation for talking anything and everything through, including cockroaches and issues with their roommate. It's a great reminder for all relationships. Mark and Teresa go through life sharing so much already, not least of which is food, something each cherishes and seeks out. We know Joseph and Fanny's involvement has encouraged this passion. Teresa and Mark have countless stories and memories of bonding over burgers and canoodling over noodles. She taught him about the treasures of the Sydney fish market. He introduced her to the wonder of Portillo's hot dogs in Chicago. Early on, before Teresa ever joined the party with us here in New York City, Mark shared with me a text exchange the two had. Teresa, he used to do this a lot. It was a lighthearted promise from you. All the hamburgers you'd make for him. I think it was just about then that your fates were sealed. Over the years, and since I first met Mark, I've had the great fortune to be, at different times, his colleague, his roommate, his confidant, life coach, occasional snuggle pal. However, my role here today is official. No? Celebrant. That feels more appropriately festive. It's my role as celebrant that I bear with the greatest honor. I'm so blessed to be here today, asked by Mark and Teresa to help make this day so special for the three of us. On that note, one of the siblings of the guys up here wanted to come up and have a reading. I know you thought she's, it's obvious who it is because they look so similar. Teresa's sister Erica is actually.
Love is enough, though the world be a-waning, and the woods have no voice but the voice of complaining. Through the sky may be dark for dim eyes to discover, the gold cups and daisies, fair blooming there. Through the hills beheld showers, and the seas a dark wonder. In this day draw a veil over all deeds passed over. Yet their hands shall not tremble, their feet shall not falter. The void shall not weary, the fear shall not alter. His lips and his eyes, the love
Order of the day. We're gathered here today to witness the exchanging of marriage vows, of rings, and frankly the beginning of the next chapter of Mark and Teresa's story together. Now, despite my protest and insistence that I convey each person's love for the other in my own words, Teresa and Mark have opted to write the wedding vows, which, rest assured, I've proofread and edited both for clarity and emotional impact. And they'll share those now.
Mom, you're the one I want to spend the rest of my life. You make me giggle, you make me strong, you make me a balanced person. One hug from you brightens my day. And for how you are, I love you. I love that you would rub my knee scarf for hours, or would walk beside me when it took us 40 minutes on crutches on our usual 10-minute walk to the subway. This shows how patient and caring you'll be towards our future children. I will grow old with you and never stop growing with you. I will be your partner on all our exciting adventures, and we'll even wait for you when we're skiing down Black Island. I promise to make you katsu with shredded cabbage when you are hungry. I promise to even have pizza Fridays once a month. I promise to save all my cuddle baggies for you each day. I will even promise to stare and compliment your blue eyes more often than others. But most of all, I will promise to love you under any circumstance. Happy or sad, easy or tough, through the sunshine and through the rain for the rest of my days. These words I will honor you with today and
Teresa, I love you. You're my best friend, my eating companion, and my personal guru. Today, I give myself to you in marriage. I promise to encourage and inspire you, to laugh with you and to comfort you in times of sorrow and struggle. I promise to love you in good times and in bad, when life seems easy and when it seems hard, when our love is simple and when it is an effort. I promise to cherish you and hold you in the highest regard. I also promise, in the dead of night, when the room's at its darkest, and it's at its driest, and you're at your thirstiest, and the kitchen sink seems like miles away from the bed, I promise to be that person to always get up and get you that cup of tea. That's a thing. I promise to be more supportive of your TV viewing habits, even when it's Law and Order reruns. And we'll make more of an effort to stay up later so you don't have to go to bed so late. These words I will honor you with today and all the days of my life.
On that note, Mark, do you, Mark Thomas Brainstetter, take Teresa Kayi Lai to be your beloved wife, knowing in your heart that you will be a faithful friend and a loving companion? On this special day in the presence of family and friends as witnesses, do you give your sacred vow that you will always be with Teresa and support her in times of sickness and in times of health, in times of joy and in times of sorrow? Do you promise to love her completely, to console and comfort her during difficult times, to laugh with her and to grieve with her, to share with her life's simplest but most enduring pleasures, to be truthful and honest with her, and to cherish her as long as you both shall live?
I do.
Teresa. Do you, Teresa Kayi Lai, take Mark Thomas Brainstetter to be your beloved husband, knowing in your heart that you will be a faithful friend and a loving companion? On the special day in the presence of family and friends as witnesses, do you give your sacred vow that you will always be with Mark and support him in times of sickness and in times of health, in times of joy and in times of sorrow? Do you promise to love him completely, to console and comfort him during difficult times, to laugh with him and to grieve with him, to share with him life's simplest but most enduring pleasures, to be truthful and honest with him, and to cherish him for as long as these both shall live? May I have the rings, please? Teresa and Mark's rings are an external and visible sign of the internal and spiritual bond of love which unites their two hearts. May they serve as a seal of the vows Teresa and Mark have made to one another. Bless these rings, symbols of eternity, beauty and strength. Bless the couple who gives them and wears them. May they ever live in harmony, unity, love, and happiness from this day forward. Place the ring of Jesus. Lastly, Teresa and Mark, before I pronounce you husband and wife, obviously we'd like to also put a ring on Mark's finger.
Yes.
Place the ring on Mark's finger. Feels better. Now that that's out of the way, and yet still before I pronounce you, I'd like you to take a moment between the two of you, just for the two of you right now. For many people on their wedding day, there's so much preparation and so much anticipation, the day can be a pretty fast-moving blur. Teresa, take a deep breath, and as you've done before, take a look into Mark's shattered pools of amethyst eyes. Mark, take a deep breath and take a look at Teresa's. I ask you that you guys think about the experiences you've already had together that have preceded today. All the love, some of the tears, happiness you guys have been able to share already. Now think about today. Who you guys are right now, and who's able to be here with you to share in this super special moment. And finally, just for a moment, think about what's to come just ahead of us in the future. In 5 years, in 20 years, in 40. You may have different ideas of what that looks like and different visions, but it's no doubt complementary to the other. On that note, and on this stunning, turns out, stunningly beautiful day in August, summer evening in Brooklyn, before so many of your loved ones, by the power vested in me, by the state of New York, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Please kiss this bride. Now, oftentimes, during ceremonies, the celebrant will ask the guests if anyone objects. Mark and Teresa wanted to do a little twist on this in order to celebrate the support of all the loved ones with us here today. So, using the objects provided for you and the gifts of your voice and hands, I ask you to express your support for this couple by making as much noise as you can in just one moment. So now, who among you present here today support this marriage between Mark and Teresa? I thought so. Now wave your flags as you congratulate the new Mr. and Mrs. Mark and Teresa Brandstetter.